Now we're going to talk about the law of thought transmission. Our minds are all connected, okay? My subconscious is connected to your subconscious is connected to your SP's subconscious. You literally have the ability to plant thoughts in their minds. In chapter 5 of Prayer, The Art of Believing, Neville says, to change a man, you must first change your conception of him. You must first believe him to be the man you want him to be and mentally talk to him as though he were. Putting this in modern terms, we're just simply going to say to change your SP, you must change your conception of your SP. You must first believe your SP to be the person you want them to be and mentally talk to them as though they already are. He goes on to say that a friend 1,000 miles away is rooted in your consciousness through your fixed ideas of him. To think of him and represent him to yourself inwardly in the state you desire him to be, confident that this subjective image is as true as it were already objectifies, awakens in him a corresponding state which he must objectify. Very simply put, your SP is going to show up exactly in the way you are assuming that they are going to. If you believe that your SP is going to show up as a playboy or a playgirl, that's exactly how they're going to show up. They can't show up in any other way. Neville goes on to say that your illusion of free will is but ignorance of the causes which make you act. Prayers depend upon your attitude of mind for the success and not upon the attitude of the subject. Listen to this, you guys. The subject has no power to resist your controlled subjective's ideas of him unless the state affirmed by you to be true of him is a state he is incapable of wishing as true of another. In that case, it returns to you, the sender, and will realize itself in you. Provided the idea is acceptable, success depends entirely on the operator, not upon the subject who, like compass needles on their pivots, are quite indifferent as to what direction you choose to give them. If your fixed idea is not subjectively accepted by the one toward whom it is directed, it rebounds to you from whom it came. All of that is just a really fancy way of explaining everyone as you pushed out. Your SP is either reflecting back to you what you believe, who you believe them to be, or they are reflecting back to you who you believe yourself to be. At all times, your SP is simply showing up, reflecting back to you your assumption about them and your assumptions about yourself. If you want to change how your SP is showing up, then you need to change your assumptions about them as well as your assumptions about yourself. I'm going to share with you another excerpt from a book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy that also deals with your subconscious talking to your SP's subconscious or other people's subconscious and your ability to plant thoughts, even belief patterns in someone else's mind. So in chapter 5, Mental Healings in Modern Times, Joseph writes, the following is a perfect example of what is called absent treatment. Recently, a listener of our radio program in Los Angeles prayed as follows for her mother in New York, who had a coronary thrombosis. Sorry, you guys. The healing presence is right where my mother is. Her bodily condition is but a reflection of her thought life, like shadows cast on the screen. I know that in order to change the images on the screen, I must change the projection reel. My mind is the projection reel, and I now project in my own mind the image of wholeness, harmony, and perfect health for my mother. The infinite healing presence which created my mother's body and all her organs is now saturating every atom of her being, and a river of peace flows through every cell of her body. The doctors are divinely guided and directed, and whomever touches my mother is guided to do the right thing. I know that disease has no ultimate reality. If it had, no one could be healed. I now align myself with the infinite principle of love and life, and I know and decree that harmony, health, and peace are now being expressed in my mother's body. She prayed in the above manner several times daily, and her mother had a most remarkable recovery after a few days, much to the amazement of her specialist. He complimented her on her great faith in the power of God. The conclusion arrived at in the daughter's mind set the creative law of mind in motion on the subjective side of life, which manifested itself through her mother's body as perfect health and harmony. What the daughter felt as true about her mother was simultaneously resurrected in the experience of her mother. Isn't that amazing, you guys? Okay, so I hope you are really able to start cementing your role in this movie, your movie, as the operant power. You are directing all of it. You're writing all of it. All of it is happening according to your own scripting, okay? So talking about the law of thought transmission as a manifestation technique, we're going to use it very deliberately in terms of manifesting your SP, just in the same way that I did with mine. In other words, you guys, rather than wondering what your SP is doing, what they are thinking, how they are feeling, we're actually going to tell them. We're going to create, we're going to seed those thoughts and those feelings into our SP's subconscious. I highly suggest when you are talking to your SP, okay, planting thoughts into their mind, seeding feeling states and stuff like that, you yourself, it would be highly beneficial for you to get yourself into at least a neutral feeling state. You don't want to do this in the energy of feeling angry, bitter, resentful, indignant, or anything like that. Because once you start doing this, the minute you start talking to your SP, okay, I'm not talking about directly, I'm talking like telepathy, okay? The minute that you start doing this, a channel opens between you and your SP, and whatever you are feeling is going to be the feeling that they're going to be picking up, associating it to you. Now, they're not going to know that this is what's happening, but basically it's transference. When I was doing this with my SP, I first sat down and I checked my existing feeling state to see if I was feeling any kind of aggression whatsoever, any kind of anger, resentment, anything other than love, peace, gratitude, feeling good. If I was feeling any kind of aggression, any kind of anger, I would clear away that existing feeling state. I would clear away that emotional charge. I would release through it, okay? That process is called releasing the wants. Check it out in the description box below. Then I would start to foster more of a feel-good feeling state towards my SP, a more loving state, a more grateful state, the state that I would be in if he were showing up to me in a way that I knew was deserving, was reflecting back to me, being worthy of commitment, being worthy of marriage, things of that nature. Then I would start talking to him. And I would talk to him as if he were sitting right in front of me. Now I would say these affirmations and I would talk to him in a manner that was confident, secure, and absolutely certain that the things that I was saying are true. I was not coming at him with an energy that felt indignant, okay? So, trial and error, you guys. Don't, like I keep saying, don't get caught up in technique. Don't get caught up in wondering if it's right or wrong. If you feel like you are kind of in a self-righteous anger or you're coming at them in an energy of indignance, again, just release through it, okay? There's still some lingering feeling states there that need to be released and let go of. Just take them through the releasing the wants process. So when I was talking to my SP telepathically, okay, I would say things like, SP, you love me. You absolutely adore me. You can't stop thinking about me, can't you? Can't wait to see me again. You long for me. You crave me. You know, I'm the only one you want, period. You know that I satisfy you in every way and you know it. While I was saying these things, I would imagine maybe myself being cuddled up next to him, like on a sofa, feeling happy and content in his arms. And as I'm saying these things to him, he's nodding in agreement and just like, yeah, you're right. This helped me to stay in this energy of love, of peace, of agreement, rather than feeling like I wanted to come at him in an angry fashion. And one of the things that I should say during my waking hours, during my conscious hours, I would catch some wonderings of my mind, wondering if he was thinking about me, wondering if he was wanting to be with me. And I would even start thinking along the lines of, he's probably not even thinking about me. He's probably with the SP, so I would catch those things. I would turn around and I would tell him the exact opposite. I would say, SP, everywhere you go, you're reminded of me. Everywhere you go. You dream about me all the time. I'm in your thoughts daily. You can't wait to see me. You're missing me constantly. You realize, SP, that I'm the only one you ever want to be with. I'm the only one you want to spend your life with. For me personally, there was a third party involved, as I have talked to you guys about previously. And so if I had anything about the third party popping up, I would just tell him how he was feeling about the third party. I'd say, SP, you can't stand her. She's everything that you don't want. You're not feeling impressed by her. Actually, you're feeling very repulsed by her. You can't wait to get away from her. You're done with her. And because I know you guys are probably going to ask, as I was saying these things to him, I had full expectation that he was actually experiencing these things. If I said he was dreaming about me, he was dreaming about me. If I told him he was thinking about me and that he was seeing signs of me everywhere, that's exactly what was happening to him. And I can tell you guys that this stuff actually works, because later on I found out he was indeed having dreams about me. He was indeed being reminded of me everywhere that he went. Everything that I was affirming, he was actually experiencing. And no, you guys, I didn't tell him that this was what I was doing. All this information would come up spontaneously in the course of, our conversation. They came up naturally. Now, I know you guys are also going to ask me how often I was doing this. I did this as needed. Some days I did it quite a bit. Some days I didn't do it at all. It all just depended on my feeling state and how I was thinking and feeling towards my SP. So yes, the law of thought transmission, I highly recommend you do that if you're not doing it already. Talk to your SP. Tell them what they're thinking. Tell them what they're feeling. Tell them what they're experiencing. And they absolutely will.